one is how to 10x your rhythm speed on the piano. And again, make sure you hit the like, the subscribe button, turn the notification bell when I release lives or pre-recorded videos. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start you guys off with something very simple. And this is where I'm going to start with the iPad, because some of you guys are, again, complete beginners. So in order for you guys to do this exercise, to understand what is rhythm, how does rhythm work, and what are rhythm notes and all of that good stuff. So here's what I'm going to do here. I have my notes here. We're going to go over. Okay. So the first thing that you have to know, I'm actually going to have to turn this this little ring light off so you guys can see here what is on my handy dandy iPad. So there are actually two rhythm notes we're going to be working with today. And the first note that we're going to be working with is called the quarter note. Some of you guys may be familiar with the quarter note, some of you guys may not. But think about if you're listening to a song, any kind of song, or if you're making music, etc., whether you realize it or not, you're actually hearing rhythms. So if you're hearing a song and you might hear, let's say a musician go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So what you're hearing are what are called measures or bars. So from beat 1 to beat 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you've counted a full bar. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I've counted 2 bars where the first one goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next one is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I bring it up because you have to kind of understand how to do this exercise and also how to deal with the rhythm notes that we're going to go over today. So we're going to go over 2, and we're going to do a simple exercise. I'm going to show you guys a really helpful tool to help you, again, drastically improve your rhythm. So you see here, I have this particular note here, and it looks like a filled in circle with a stem. That is the quarter note that I was talking about. And it's important to know that the length of a quarter note is 1 beat. So 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. I've just counted 4 quarter notes. So if that were to be shown in, let's say, a measure, right? So this is the beginning of the measure. This is the end of the measure. If I were to fill it with quarter notes, it would be 4 quarter notes. And each quarter note would be given 1 beat. So beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. So how does this translate to the piano? Let me go ahead and turn my little ring light on here. Let me actually bring that back up so you guys can see. So if I were to play quarter notes, right, on the piano, it would look like this. It would be, if I were to count 1, 2, 3, 4, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So no matter what note I'm playing, if I'm giving each note 1 beat, I'm playing quarter notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this lesson isn't about really naming the keys, but in case you want to know the names of the keys, at least the white keys, which we'll work on today. If you notice, the black keys are in groups of 2, 3, and 2. C is the white key to the left of the 2 black keys. And then it goes D, E, F, G, like the alphabet. After G, it's A. After A, it's B. And then after B, it's C again. And it just starts back over. So the piano is really just the same 7 white keys and the same 5 black keys repeated, going up and higher in tone and then going down lower in tone. But for this exercise, we're going to be dealing with just 1 key, and that is going to be just C. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring in a very important tool. And I'm going to type in the name of the tool in the chat box, because you can download this tool on your in your app store. It's called the metronome. So M is in Mary, E, T is in Tom, R, O, N is in Nancy, O, M is in Mary, E. And what is this metronome? A metronome is basically like a ticker where it goes tick, 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 right? So if you download it, you'll see that there's going to be a number that pops up. I might say 60 or 70, right? So this one, you can't really see it, but it says 60. So what does that mean? If I were to turn on this metronome, it's going to tick at 60 beats per minute. So if I press this play button, you guys can hear it, right? So each tick is going to be 1 beat. So if you were to play quarter notes, you would just give 1 beat or 1 note to 1 beat. Here's how it would sound. So this is one of the ways in which you can not just grasp the concept of quarter notes, but also build your skills when it comes to timing. You can do the same thing with the left hand. The other thing that you can do is you can also change what is called the tempo or the speed at which these tickers move. So if you wanted to go slower, let's say if you were at 60 beats per minute, you can go from 60 to 50 beats per minute, and it's going to go slower, as you can hear. So if you want to go for a slower tempo, which is more comfortable, you can go like this. And you can do that for maybe like 30 or so seconds to a minute. And again, this is just about using 1 note. This isn't about playing a whole bunch of notes. This is just grasping how rhythm works, how timing works, and the relationship between the rhythm and the way that the song goes in terms of, you know, the timing and how it's counted. And again, you can do the same thing with the left hand. You can pick any key on the keyboard and just use your thumb, right? And you can just go like this. And then the idea is once you're comfortable at that particular speed, so let's say if you start at 50 beats per minute and you've gotten it down, then what you do is you increase the speed to 60 beats per minute and just work on the exercise there. So and so this is where you can start 10xing or drastically improving your speed of rhythm because you start at a slower speed and you know what you're playing. So let's say you get to 60 beats per minute and you do really well, then you can increase it to 70 beats per minute. And it's a simple quarter note. So the idea is to practice at each point and just work on it for maybe a couple of minutes, maybe a day or so, and then increase it slowly. So let's say if you're at 70, you can do 80 beats per minute and then go up to maybe 90 and then maybe have a particular goal speed that you want to work up to. It might be 100, and then you'll be able to lock in your sense of timing. Before I move on to the second exercise, I want to bring to your attention that I do have a free Piano in 3 Steps video where it goes over the basics of playing piano from naming the keys all the way up to playing chords. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat box. If you're watching this as a recording, it's going to be in the description box. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in really quickly. So that way you guys can just go ahead and grab it. It's completely free and you'll be able to start learning chords right away. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work with another type of rhythm note. So there's different types. My family's reaching out to me talking about happy birthdays. You might see some text messages. Let me go ahead and put the do not disturb on here. So I'm going to turn this off so you guys can see my iPad here. So the other note that we're going to work with is going to look similar to the quarter note, but it's going to look like this. So it's going to have a filled in circle. And usually if you see more than one of these, and you've probably seen these all over the place in terms of just referencing music, you guys may have seen this guy where you have 2 notes together with the filled in circle and they have what's called a beam attaching them. These guys are called 8th notes. Now these ones are a little bit tricky, which is the reason why I'm doing this one second. So start with the quarter note first, and then once you've gotten really comfortable with the quarter notes, then you work with the 8th notes. But what are 8th notes? How are they counted? Think of taking a quarter note and splitting it in 2. So a quarter note, if you split it one half and the other, you have this half and you have that half. So the eighth note is a half of a beat long. So if you were to count a full beat, you'd basically be able to fit in 2/8 notes into that one beat. So what does that look like in a measure, and how is it counted? So let's go ahead and, oops, I did not mean to do that. I was meant to do the erase bar here. So you can actually, and part of the reason why these are called eighth notes is because in a full 4-beat bar, you can fit 8 eighth notes in there. So boom, 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 boom. So the way that the eighth notes will look is you'll see in a 4-beat bar, you will see 4 of them connected together, right? And then another 4 connected together. So this eighth note would be beat 1. This one would be beat 2. This one would be beat 3. This one would be beat 4. And then the ones in between are called the ands, because we would call them and. 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. So if I were to count 4 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, quarter notes would be counted or played. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes would be twice as fast. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I really should turn this ring light back on. Where is it? There we go. Let me see a little bit of adjusting here. So yeah, so eighth notes would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So whatever speed at which you're playing the quarter notes, the eighth notes would be played twice as fast. So when you add the metronome back, let's say if we go back to 50 beats per minute, right? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Quarter notes would be, right? But eighth notes would be counted like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So think of it as 2 notes to 1 tick. So right? So what you do is the same concept. You practice at a slow beat. And again, start with the quarter notes first because the eighth notes are a little bit trickier. And you don't have to go as fast with the eighth notes in terms of a goal. So let's say if you start at 50 beats per minute, and then if you get really good at it, then you can go up to 60 beats per minute and do the same exact thing. So eighth notes, 2 notes to a tick. So you see how it's a little bit faster? And then maybe you might want to stop at maybe 70 or 80 beats per minute. So now if we're at 70, so again, you're achieving a few goals here. You're grasping an understanding of how quarter notes and eighth notes work, but you're also being able to improve your sense of timing in terms of physically being able to play those quarter notes and those eighth notes.